All right, ready? Yes. So your suggested layout for your notes looks like this. Again, it's a what? Suggestion. Do you have to do it? No. You can do it as we go, fill it in, write what you want, but this is your suggested layout. Yes, I know that says you do two twice. Pretend that it doesn't. You don't see anything. Look at that. Bam, it's gone. You don't see it. You don't see it. Do you see it? No. All right. Yeah, it's a whole page. Yeah, it's a whole page. This is a whole entire page 53. Oh, I just write it big. Example 1 will be the biggest though, just because there's steps. I did. Let me do what I gotta do. All right, ready? All right, so an identity matrix. What is an identity matrix, okay? So for any n by n matrix, this means that it's a square matrix. Same number of rows, same number of columns, okay? The multiplicative identity matrix is an n by n matrix as well. This is what an identity matrix looks like. Those are your identity matrix. An identity matrix consists of zeros and ones along the diagonal. Okay, so the main thing that you need to write down, just grab one off the desk here. All right, so what is an identity matrix? It's a matrix that is a square matrix, and it consists of zeros and ones with ones along the diagonal. Can we handle that? Yes. Okay. What I put a box around? The examples of identity matrices. Not really. If you're writing a definition, you're gonna have to come back and do it on your own because we're gonna keep trucking. All right, so identity matrix. So I have an I2, that's a 2 by 2. I have an I3, that's a 3 by 3. I have an I4, that's a 4 by 4, and so forth, right? Makes sense? Okay. Now, why are these important for the inverses? When we are calculating the inverse, if you multiply two matrices together and they equal the identity matrix, then therefore they are inverses of each other. So if you multiply two matrices together and they equal the identity, then they are inverses. And that's what we're going to be verifying today. So literally on your test, you will have a question where you have to tell me whether two matrices are inverses. So it's a 50-50 shot, either yes or no. Okay. All right. This is not writing down. So how to determine if the two matrices are together? You're going to find the product of the two matrices. If the product matrix equals an identity, bless me, then the answer is yes. If the product matrix equals anything else, then the answer is no. Simple enough. All right, here's our example, and then we're going to write the steps that we're going to follow in the calculator. So once you write down the example, please make sure you have a handheld calculator.
Yeah, white paper, can I get?
So in the calculator, the first step is to input matrix A. Okay. After you input matrix A, step 2 is you're going to press Control. Then you're going to press var. Then you're going to press the letter A. And then you're going to press Enter. What this does is it saves what the matrix is in your calculator. Step 3 is you're going to repeat this. Repeat 1 through 2 with matrix B. So you're going to do the same thing that you just did with matrix A with matrix B. And then step 4, you're going to find your products. So you're going to test product A times B and see what it equals. You're going to test your products. So you're going to do A times B and you're going to do B times A. If they equal the identity matrix, then it's a yes. If they don't equal the identity matrix, then it's a no. All right. Everyone has a calculator? So let me open my calculator. I strongly suggest every time you have the calculator, just start a new document. It's not about knowing the answer, it's about being able to do the process. This is it. We can do it by hand. So we're going to go home. We're going to click new document. I don't want to save. I'm going to open a blank calculator page. I'm going to input my matrix. I have a 2 by 2, so I actually can use the square matrix. And I'm going to input. As you're inputting to move through, you just hit tab and it'll move you to the next open box. And then you're going to hit tab to get outside of the matrix. All right. After you're here, then we're going to go into step 2 and we're going to do Control var A enter. Control var A enter. What we just did is we stored this matrix's letter A. So anytime I use a letter A in this document, it's going to think it's a matrix. And then we're going to repeat 1 through 2 with matrix B. So I'm going to do the same thing with matrix B. Oh, no. To get a fraction, use the division. No, just use the division. Okay. And then I hit Control var, but this time I'm pressing B. So now A and B are stored. And step 4 is where you multiply. So I'm going to do A times B. So I have A times B. I'm going to hit enter. Do I get the identity matrix? I did. Hit yes. And then I'm going to test B times A. Do I get the identity matrix? I got the identity matrix for both of them. So it is a yes. And that's how you verify whether they're inverses. And you just write yes or no. All right. How do we feel? Okay. So what do you mean you're guys? So when I'm asking, so what do we get? Yes, it should have been a yes. So your A times B equaled an identity, right? And your B times A equaled the identity. So then it is a yes. Do you think it's going to change if we make it a bigger matrix? Does the process stays the same. The only difference is which matrix you select. So when you're here, instead of selecting the 2 by 2, you need to select the 3 by 3. This looks like a 3 by 3, but it's going to ask you, do you want to, it's where you can make the matrix whatever size you want. So you press OK. What did I do? Oh, that's how you did? Yeah. Oh. No, I'm like, what? Yes. And then we have 1, and we just input the values. Nothing's going to change, just the size of our matrix. Again, the process doesn't change, just the size of your matrix. Got it? So that's going to be my new A. All right, so once they're in, you're gonna do A times B and hit enter. Oh. B times A and bam. What do I get? A yes, my identity has appeared. So A times B equals the identity. B times A equals the identity. So it is a yes. Easy enough? Okay. Yeah. Can we handle this? There is literally just one question on the test where you have to do this. It's not the whole test. I think the test maybe, what did they make it? 15, 20? I can't remember. All right, good. Mm-hmm. Do we need to do another example? Are you sure? Okay.